This is my third Sunday going to church. If you don't know who Sunday is, Sondae, you should definitely look him up. His song's Desert Storm, he says, I cannot pay you back, so I will love you back. He said, I will praise the one who came in fast to save my life. Or something like that. And this is the third Sunday in a row I done went to church, thank God. And I just feel so much better. I forgot how much of a benefit it was to go to church. Yes, it's good to listen to gospel music and listen to sermons, but it's helpful to go to church as well. And it's kind of crazy even to say it like that. But sometimes you just fall off real hard. Today, before I went in church, me and, the ex or whatever, have just been going back and forth, and I just was crying before I went into church, and I almost didn't go because I was crying and I felt bad, and something just told me just to go, because I told myself that I was going to start going to church. I was going to try to go to church every Sunday I'm off, and I've been off every Sunday. And I'm just so grateful for where he's brought me from and bring me through the month of July, because bring me through the month of July, because the month of July was hard for me. The month of June was hard for me. So I just anyways, I made it in the church, and it was a new church, and there was this lady. She prayed for me. She prayed that God healed my broken heart, and I just started crying. And also, she asked me if I wanted to go to the front. The pastor prompted me to go up to the front. Not prompted me, but prompted, anybody who's trying to get back, who done strayed away, and who's trying to get back into fellowship, for us to go up front and not raise your hand. I didn't do it. Just because of what I've been through in the church. And that's not to hold anything against anybody. It's just that, I don't know, I just had a lot of anxiety going to church just because of my past experiences in the church. So, don't know how far I should go into that, because I don't know. Anyways, I'm just glad I went. And I will be going back there. And part of me stopped going to church also just because of the shame I felt from, gaining weight. And I know that gluttony is a sin. So just like going to church, knowing that I wasn't fully devoted to God, I just felt wrong going. And now that I'm now 16 pounds down from my recent highest. Still not too far from my highest weight. But for my recent highs, I'm 60 pounds down. I've been, doing what I need to do and come back on more portions and stuff. And I feel so much better. There's anybody out there in that hole of binging and restricting, just know that it feels better to be free than it is to be binging. Like, it feels better. This is what I just said. It feels better. You would think it feels better to be binge eating to your heart's desire, but that feels worse and worse than you think. And you're doing more damage than you think. You don't realize how much damage you're doing until you cut back and you need to lose weight and you need to cleanse and take care of yourself. You don't realize how bad you're really doing. And Then, you know, I hit a new low this morning, thank God, in my weight. That felt so good. That felt so good because, you know, the weight hadn't been going as fast as it usually goes. So that hurt, but I knew not to give in to what the scale says, because I know the scale can lie, because I've been on my period. I started my period the first day I started back, you know, locking in, and that could be one of the worst feelings, really, because, you know, the scale was about 5 or 6 pounds up, and so it tricked my mind into thinking that I didn't lose any weight when I knew I was losing weight. I knew I was doing better. I knew I was looking better. I was getting confidence in my look, so I just tried to hold to me looking better and me feeling better than to what the scale said in that moment. And this morning, I looked at myself and I thought, wow, I'm gorgeous. You know, I'm beautiful. And that felt good because it feels like a while, maybe a year or so, where I just didn't feel gorgeous. I didn't feel beautiful. So that felt good to look at myself in the mirror and say, wow, I'm gorgeous again, like I used to, you know. To really be happy with what I see in the mirror. You know, I'm not content and satisfied with what I see in the mirror, if that makes sense. Like, I'm content and satisfied with me being me and the body that God gave me. At the same time, I'm not finished with what the body I have right now. So just to look at myself in the mirror and say, wow, I'm gorgeous. I've said it, but I didn't feel it. So that felt good. Oh yeah, and so thing that's been helping me is to plan out my days. And so I just been too busy to binge eat and been focused on living life and not binge eating. So yesterday I went to the hair supply, whatever, a hair vendor, to go get some hair for my birthday. So that's something I'm focusing on like my wardrobe and my hair for my birthday. That's coming up. And then today I had church. I walked a little bit before I went to church on my walking pad. Then I stood on the vibration plate, you know, light stuff. I try to do light stuff on Sundays. And I went to church. And then now, I took a nap. I try to leave pockets in the day to take naps. I feel like I'm just now learning that it's okay to take naps and it's healthy to take naps. And that just might be what my body is calling for. You know, instead of drinking energy drinks and all that, maybe I should just take a nap. And so yeah, I took about an hour nap after church. And then now I'm going to meet up with old coworker to go hiking. And hopefully I have time to stop and get me a juice or like a juice shot or whatever before we meet up to hike. So yeah. I said naps, but I really mean a nap in the day. And, you know, an hour is good. And I don't have to take a nap every day, you know. And then also forgot to mention yesterday I had got off from doing night shift. So some of the day, not a lot of the day, I did go to sleep and I did rest. But other than going to Atlanta to get some hair, what else I did? I went to the gym and ran some errands, and that took a lot of my day. So yeah. But yeah, I did get some from Arden's Garden. Got this 2-ounce wheatgrass shot. How many calories? It says it's 40 calories in this CMOS energy. I'm assuming that it's not that many calories in a wheatgrass shot. I stopped by Arden's Garden once every now and again when I'm passing through Douglasville or passing by Douglasville. It's not that far from the, I should say the city, but it doesn't matter. But when I'm passing by the location, Douglasville, because it's not that far from the exit, and yeah, so, and it's not that expensive, even though it's cheaper just to juice at home. But I guess just the convenience, and I did want to include how much I weigh. I started at my recent highest was 259. I know, but that's not who I am. I'm not a number. That is not me. And this morning I was 243. I never thought I'd be grateful to say I'm 243. But Lord knows I felt like I was stuck in the 250s forever. And this just feels so good to see the scale go down again. So yeah, I'm so ready to get into the 230s, and I'm trying to do it in 10-pound increments and focus on 10-pound increments, because it feels like every pound I'm having to work for. But then again, I know it just feels like that because it's hard, not hard. I'm thinking that it's hard, but it's not really that hard. I'm just thinking that it is. And it's hard for me to give up binge eating. It's hard for me to give up overeating. It's hard for me to not only give up overeating and binge eating, but to really be intentional about what I put in my diet and what I eat and what I put in my mouth, and not just feel like I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want. So it's a big sacrifice for me, and I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it takes at this point to get closer to God and to get what He wants me to have. And yeah, cheers to new beginnings for sure. And I'm so ready to get down to the into the 230s. So yeah. So today, me and my coworker went to the Roswell Mill waterfall. We had a good time. It was good sights. We didn't do too much hiking. So afterwards, I went to the gym. Did 10.5 incline on the treadmill, 1.7, even though it's not the TikTok 12-3-30 or some whatever it is. I just try to start where I'm at, and something's better than nothing. I just try to do more and more each time I go. Thank you for watching. Love you. Bye-bye.